Okay, I'm an IMG. There are just 47 posts and over 250 of us are applying. How am I going to get it? So a lot of people get discouraged because they think it's not possible, but that's not true. It's very possible.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Laju and I share tips for new immigrants and health workers moving to the UK and life generally as a Nigerian in the UK. If you're new here, you're highly welcome. Welcome to my YouTube family. If you're a returning subscriber, what can I say? Thank you so much for sticking with me. Today, I'll be sharing with you how to get into the emergency medicine training in the UK. But I wouldn't be doing this alone because once again, I have with me a guest appearance in the person of Dr. Ayomikun Soyombo. He's a second-year trainee in the emergency medicine department, and he'll be sharing with us his personal experience on how to get into the emergency medicine training in the UK. So stick with us. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for coming here once again. I'm really excited and delighted to have you here.
Thanks so much for featuring me.
So, Dr. Ayo, why emergency medicine?
A lot of things led to emergency medicine. Back in Nigeria, emergency medicine is not a specialty. So on getting to the UK, I was fortunate to work as an EM doctor. And that's really exposed me to the specialty. It's basically acute care. People are coming to you really sick and you just want to do something as soon as possible to get them better. And anything can come at any time. I enjoyed the fun. It's a fun-filled specialty to me. A lot of thrills, a lot of memories, within a very short period of time. And it's just the acute setting. It's something I really am in tune with, And I also, thinking long term, I was like, okay, if Nigeria wants to start emergency medicine training, then the country will need some people to help shed the light and guide the college. So we'll see how it goes.
I like that. It reminds me of movies and series that we watch about the medical profession. And most of these movies actually shed light on, the emergency departments. There's usually so much adrenaline, the rush, the anticipation, basically. So this must be something that you really enjoy doing. So, Dr. Ayo, how long is the emergency medicine training in the UK?
So emergency medicine training, there are many pathways of getting into the training. So I got in through the run-through training. So it's called the ACCS Emergency Medicine Run-Through.
Okay.
So run-through just basically means you go from your first year to your second year down to the sixth year. Okay. So you don't have to reapply after your third year.
Okay.
Yeah. The advantage of the run-through training is that, it directly leads you to your fellowship.
Okay.
And then you get your certificate of completion of training. That's after the sixth year. It's a direct pathway. You just have to keep passing your exams and meeting portfolio requirements every year, and then you get to the end. So it's basically, for the run-through, it's 6 years.
What steps should be taken before applying for the training?
Preparation and then seeking the right information. So I think this platform is about giving out the right information to people. So regarding preparation, all training applications are via the Oriel website. So you need to get registered on Oriel, create your personal profile, and that includes filling in stuff like as if you're filling in a CV.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the primary thing. The second thing is to know when the interview, because getting into training is about your performance during the interview. And Health Education England is in charge of the interview for all specialties, really. So most times applications open every November. Getting to know when the applications will open and then applying. Then the third thing is knowing what's going to happen at the interview, because it's your performance that's going to make the difference, really. So for the ACCS emergency medicine interview, there are usually 4 stations on that day. So the first station for me was the portfolio station. That's where they go through your portfolio, they scrutinize everything, they check all the evidences you bring. During the application on Oriel, there is a part of the application where you do a self-assessment of your portfolio. So they check your self-assessment against the documents you bring just to be sure that nothing is missing. So portfolio station, that's the first station for me during the interview. The second station, we have a presentation station where they just give you a random topic, but most times it's related to relevance of IT in the emergency medicine environment or in the ED department. So they give you 10 minutes to prepare and 10 minutes to present. The third stage, they call it the emergency medicine specific station. So for that station, they ask you a lot of questions about emergency medicine departments. Stuffs like what do you think are the qualities of a good consultant? When you become a consultant, how do you hope to keep developing yourself? What challenges of the ED environments do you know? By ED, I mean emergency departments. Yeah. They just keep asking different questions, but all the questions are related to things you see in the emergency departments every day. They also try to ask you questions about your understanding of the training.
Okay.
So they ask you questions like, how long do you think the ACCS training lasts? What exams do we do in the college?
Okay.
How many years is the training? So like the training, the ACCS training, which is the first 2 years of our training. So we rotate through acute medicine, emergency medicine, intensive care, and anesthetics. So that's 6 months in each rotation. So they want to know that you know those things.
That you've done your research.
Exactly. So so all the information really are on the Royal College of Emergency Medicine website. So it's very good to, get familiar with the website, understand what the training entails, understand the person specifications, understand the exam patterns. Because they tend to ask all those things, The other thing they also ask are events or things happening in the college, like if there is a new protocol or something like that. So that if there are big projects happening in the college, they can ask you during the emergency medicine specific station. I think it's basically the same questions every year. So the point is being able to answer so many questions within your allotted 10 minutes and getting as many marks as you can. And the last station is the clinical and ethical scenario station. So in all these stations, you'll meet 2 people there, most likely 2 EM consultants. So for the clinical and ethical scenario station, one of the consultants will give you a clinical scenario. They just tell you maybe a 55-year-old patient comes with chest pain. This is the ECG. How will you manage? So they want to see how systematic you can be, how logical you can be, and how safe you can be in your management. And then the other consultants will paint an ethical scenario, sometimes domestic violence. A lot of ethical scenarios can come up. And then they tell you to outline your management and they ask you questions along the line of your answers. So in all the 4 stations, the point is being able to get all the marks you can. For us, because we are IMGs, we don't have a lot of things that can give us all the scores for the portfolio station.
Okay.
But if you can do very well in the other stations, then you increase your chance
Okay.
of ranking very highly and getting into training.
Okay. Just to take you back a bit, the portfolio for IMGs, what would doctors need to get for the self-assessment part?
Okay, so for the self-assessment, there are about 8 things they look for. Um, One of them is additional degree, like if you have a master's or any other degree
Okay.
aside your primary degree, so it gives you extra points.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they also look for relevant additional achievements. So it may be something outside of medicine, or just any outstanding achievements outside medicine.
Anything at all.
Anything. So like for me, during NYSC, I think I got one funny award as because I was a leader or something, and I had a certificate to show. So I took that along and showed it to them that, I served the community in Nigeria. We did this project, and at the end of the day, I got that certificate of recognition for everything we did.
Okay.
So, they want to see the proof rather than you just mentioning it.
Yeah.
They also want to see evidence of your previous presentations or publications. So for many people, they may be thinking, oh, I've not done any presentation in the UK. But what I did, I printed out some of the presentations I've done in Nigeria.
Okay.
And also because I write online
Okay.
sometimes, so I printed out some of my online publications that are related to emergency medicine.
Oh, okay.
So I showed all that to them as my previous presentations and publication. So I was able to score for that. The other thing that is very important to them is audits or quality improvement projects. If you don't have these things, it doesn't mean you can't get into training. Okay. So for myself, about audit, I mentioned some not big projects, really, some little projects done in Nigeria just to help improve healthcare delivery in my department. Basic things.
Yeah.
Basic things like projects about properly disposing sharps.
Yeah.
So any little, it doesn't have to be something big. And if you have any documents to back that project, that you've done in Nigeria, just put it in your portfolio as part of your evidence. As at the time I went for the interview, I was involved in an audit about paracetamol overdose, just something relevant to the emergency medicine um, world. It's relevant to us. So we were still doing the audit then. So I didn't have any certificates to say, yes, I have completed the audit. So what I did, I just took one of the questionnaires of the presentation along just to show them that was going on then. So just anything to make them know that, yes, you are really interested in the specialty. You have that zeal to make things better, like contributing and getting things, improving things in the ED world, so to say. Yeah, that's just the idea. So like for me, for the audit part, I think I scored 2. But for some people, I know there are Nigerians currently in the UK, they've done audits, they have certificates. So it gives them a good chance to score points in that regard. Then they also, I said for the portfolio station, they look at about 8 things.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, they look at your achievements specific to emergency medicine. So that's a tricky one.
Yeah, I did.
Uh, so luckily for me, my department that I was working with then, they magnanimously gave me an award I think some months before I went for the interview. So I took the award along and I showed it to the interview panel that I got this from my department.
The award you received, was it emergency medicine related?
Yes, they voted me as the clinician of the week for a particular week, for which I'm still very grateful till date. So, when the interview panel saw that, they felt like, okay, this particular candidate, maybe he has something to offer, maybe he has something special about him. I'm not sure, but I want to strongly believe it helped.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah, so if you have any awards, it might not be awards, it might be publications that is relevant to emergency medicine. It might be a project that is relevant to emergency medicine. It can be an achievement to you. So just slot that in. If there is any document to confirm that you've done such a project or you got the award or something, so just slot it in into the space for your achievements specific to emergency medicine. Then they also look for relevant additional achievements and prizes
Okay.
as part of the portfolio mixture. Let me put it that way.
I was going to ask, like, everything seems emergency specific. Is there any area for non-emergency achievements?
Exactly. So, like the relevant additional achievements and prizes. So, I found a mentor who advised me because she's a year ahead of me in training now. So she told me that the NYSC certificates from Nigeria, because we served the country, and the country, they recognize your service and all that. They give you the NYSC certificate, so that they consider that as a national award.
Okay.
Yeah, so I took it along as a national award. Then I got a scholarship as an undergraduate. I got Ogun State government scholarship
Okay.
whilst at OAU, and I still have the documents to prove that with me.
Yeah.
So I added that as
Okay.
part of my additional achievements and prizes. So, like, if you've gotten any scholarship before as an undergraduate or at a postgraduate level, or your NYC certificate, all that can come in as a national prize.
These are tips that people would usually overlook, but now that you mention it, it sounds very relevant.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. So the last two parts of the portfolio station, so they want to see your competencies
Okay.
as evidenced by your workplace-based assessments. So, like, if you've done any e-learning that is relevant to emergency medicine and you have the certificates, you can add the certificates to that part.
Okay.
So there are like some platforms online where we do e-learning. So we have one, ELFH. Then there is Alchem Learning. Alchem means Royal College of Emergency Medicine.
Okay.
So if you've done and completed any relevant learnings on those platforms, they give you certificates. So you can just print out the certificates and add them. So that's part of it. So any other course, it might not be an online course, like the ALS, Advanced Life Support. That's mandatory for any specialty. So you can add the certificates. Then the other thing, if you've passed any Royal College of Emergency Medicine exams, so they give some points for that also.
Okay.
So we have basically the primary exam, the intermediate exam, the final exam. If you've passed the primary, it gives you some points.
So you're saying you don't need an exam to apply. You don't need the exams to apply, but if you've passed the exam, it gives you an additional point.
Yeah. So if you've passed the exams, it gives you an additional point. Then research. Research is another thing. If you have any research, there is a part for research in the portfolio station. So for me, I printed out my undergraduate project, the research we did in med school. If you have that, it's good.
I think everyone should have that, really.
Yeah. So the basic thing about this portfolio station, they want to see how your skills, how your background really shows that you are interested in emergency medicine. And another thing I missed out, one of the first things I did when I was planning to get into training was to register as an associate member of the Royal College of Emergency Medicine.
Okay.
So that really helps also. So for anyone intending to apply for training at some point, it will be a very good idea to get registered as an associate member. And then, they give you a membership number. So I went to the college website, registered, got an approval, and I got an e-portfolio, which was not very useful then because I wasn't in training.
Okay.
But at least, it gave me an idea of how everything works and all that. So I think that's one of the key things that should be done before applying for training. And because of that, I could tell them during the interview that, yes, it's because of my interest in the specialty. I've gone to register as an associate member. I've been paying, I've been trying to follow what's going on in the college, just for me to really understand everything about the specialty. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, so one of the things I missed out that they also look out for in the portfolio station, they look out for evidences of your teaching skills.
Okay.
So like if you've taught medical students before and they gave you feedbacks, so you can print out the feedbacks and add them to that portion of the portfolio as your evidence of teaching skills. So I didn't have any feedback
Okay.
regarding teaching, but what I did was I printed out some other teachings I've done, and I showed it to them that I presented this, I presented that, and I've been trying to develop my teaching skills over the years. Then because I've done some leadership courses before, so I added the certificates as evidences of, trying to develop myself relative to teaching people and all that. So, it's really not a one direction thing. You can play around with the certificates you have just to fit into the different parts of the portfolio requirements.
Yeah.
Then the last thing under the portfolio also. So if you've, like for us in the UK, sometimes you get feedbacks from patients. So if you've gotten any feedbacks from patients, you can print it out, ensuring the patient's confidentiality. So luckily for me also, I got some letters from patients and patients' relatives to say thank you for the care they got in the EM. They are grateful. So you can add your feedbacks to your portfolio. The other thing I added, because prior to my interview for training, I had done my appraisal at work. So my consultant that did the appraisal, he wrote very lovely things, magnanimously also, which was very helpful. He was very thoughtful. He was like a father. He was very encouraging, and he wrote some very lovely things in my appraisal. So I printed out the appraisal, I highlighted those pages, and I think it's created good impression with the interview panel. Because even before I left the panel, they were telling me that, okay, these things you are doing, make sure you continue doing them. Because they were very impressed. So if you have any positive feedbacks at work, add them to your portfolio. So the last thing, I was saying that there is a way you have to organize your portfolio for the interview.
Yeah, you said so.
Yeah, so you don't have to carry a very big portfolio. You know, some people will bring very big portfolio and they'll be struggling to carry it. And at the end of the day, it wouldn't really make any difference. So it's not about the size of the portfolio.
Mm,
So what I did, I created a content page.
okay.
So on the content page, the first part was my CV. The second part was the CV. You need to make a CV and add it to the very front of your portfolio
Okay.
for the interview, and it has to be an up-to-date CV.
Mhm.
So for the content page, your CV, maybe page one, relevant additional achievements and prizes, another page, presentations and publication, another. You know, just arrange it very neatly
Okay.
and have a sort of index or content page. Then I bought all these Manila envelopes with different compartments.
Okay.
Exact. So I arranged all the different parts of the portfolio into separate compartments.
Mm,
So because they won't have a lot of time, they might just say, "Give us your CV." So you know your CV is on the first page. Just bring it out and give it to them.
mhm,
Then they may say, "Give us evidences of your teaching skills."
mm,
So if you know it, you have everything in the fifth compartment, you can go there, bring it out and give to them. It shows that you are very organized and it makes things very easy for you. And then pray for favor. Because I think favor also plays a part. Saying the right thing at the right time that will strike the right chord and then make them remember you.
mm.
Then if you have any additional skills, because I write poems, I present poems, and I look for all opportunities to present my poems. So
Mhm.
during my presentation part of the interview, I concluded with a poem. And I'm sure they've not seen something like that before.
Nice.
You know, they were smiling, they couldn't believe it that someone wrote a poem about the relevance of IT to the emergency medicine environment. They couldn't believe it. So if you have any skills, it might not be poetry.
Yeah.
Um,
That's very impressive.
yeah, just infuse it and
Mm.
yeah.
So finally, are there any misconceptions that people have or errors that people make during the interview that you would like to share with us?
All right. Misconceptions. Yes, maybe. You know, when I came to the UK, and I was trying to get information about getting into emergency medicine training, you know, because it's very competitive, especially for an IMG just coming into the country.
Mm,
When I applied, it used to be round one application and round two. So for IMGs, you can't, and if you don't have European citizenship and all that, you can't apply in round one.
yeah.
So I had to apply in round two.
Mhm.
And in round two, we were over 250 people that applied
Wow.
for for about 47 posts in the UK, in England.
Mm,
So, you know, you can imagine, okay, I'm an IMG. There are just 47 posts and over 250 of us are applying. How am I going to get it?
mm,
So a lot of people get discouraged because they think it's not possible, but that's not true. It's very possible.
mm,
It's all a tick tick boxes kind of process. You
mm,
have to be able to tick the boxes. So this session now can help direct people to what to look out for, how to get the right boxes ticked and all that, you know, just to get in. So a misconception is it's difficult, but it's not difficult really. Yeah, so the one of the errors is that a lot of people concentrate on the portfolio alone,
mm.
but the interview process is more than the portfolio. I've said it that there are four stations.
Yes, you said that.
The portfolio station is just one of them.
Mm,
It's 36 marks. There is the presentation station, which is 46, which is 60 marks.
okay.
So there is the clinical and ethical scenario station, which is 60 marks. There is the emergency medicine specific station, which is 60 marks. And then there is the self-assessment, which is just 24 marks. So if you are concentrating on the portfolio station alone, which is 36 marks, you can miss the whole point. But the idea is to, do very well as much as possible in all the stations so that you can rank very highly. The other thing is ranking. So the way the ranking is done, like the overall best person in the country gets ranked number one. So that's the first person they will consider. They will look at where you want to go because you have to rank all the available deaneries. So before applying, just try to look out for where you really want to settle down because you'll be spending 6 years
of your life
in training. Yeah, so you have to understand the region you want to go to for any reason peculiar to you or best known to you. Then if you don't get ranked when the results initially come out, don't lose hope. So like for me, I ranked 58 out of the over 250 people that applied. So during the first ranking, I didn't get, I said there were like 47 posts.
Yeah, you did. You said so.
Yeah. So during the first matching, I missed out. Second matching, I missed out. So it was like about the third matching that I was offered a placement in West Midlands Deanery. So don't give up because you don't get matched the very first.
Probably people dropped out.
Exactly. Maybe some people dropped out. They went for another specialty or something like that. So,
all right. Thank you very much. That's been a very enlightening video.
Yeah.
And I really do hope people find it helpful too. So
yeah, I hope so.
I hope that this video answers their questions. It's been great having you here, Dr.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Now you know how to get into the emergency medicine training in the UK. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Till next time. Bye.